Last November, I sat down at my kitchen table and I calculated the exact amount of money I need to stop feeling broke. And the number shocked me, not because it was big, but because it was small. Smaller than the fear had been telling me for years, smaller than the number that I had been chasing through decades of working twice as hard. I had spent years running from a monster, and when I finally turned around and measured it, the monster came up to my knee. Now, I am not going to tell you my number, and I want to be honest with you about why. My number is useless to you. It is built out of my rent, my life, my dreams. What I am going to do instead is better. I am going to show you how to find yours because here is what took me 50 years to learn. Feeling broke was never really about how much money was coming. I have felt broke in my highest earning year. The feeling has a different cure, and the cure has a number on it. Because broke is a feeling before it is ever a number, and a feeling that you refuse to measure will grow to fill every room in your mind. Fear does not do math, fear does multiplication. The only thing that shrinks it back down to its real size is a calculated and one honest hour. And I already know something about the woman watching this. Maybe you are earning more than you ever have, and the fear did not leave. It just changed clothes. You look at your account, and a voice still whispers, "It is not enough. You are behind. It could all disappear." And then you wonder what is wrong with you. Because on paper, you're doing fine. Or maybe money truly is tight right now. And every guru on this app keeps screaming that you need six figures, seven figures, passive empires, or you are failing at life. So let me tell you what almost nobody says out loud. Most of us do not want a yacht. Besides, you can rent them with the staff. Look it up. Most of us want to afford our groceries without doing math in the aisle, to pay every bill on time, to take one good vacation a year, and to never again have to say no to something that matters for the one reason that hurts the most, the money. That is not a small dream. That is the actual dream. And for women like us who come here alone, who build it all with no net underneath, nobody ever taught us to measure that dream. They only taught us to fear never reaching that dream. And one quick breath before we go on, I am not a financial advisor. That is my story and my math. Yours deserve a professional. But the thinking I am about to hand you, that part, it is free and it is yours today. Let me prove to you that income was never the cure with my own life. There was a season back when I was working in corporate when I was making more money than I ever had. From the outside, I had made it. And do you know what I remember most about that season? A feeling that followed me around like weather. Where does all my money go? Then tax season came, and I will never forget sitting there looking at the total income for the year in my W 2, printed in black and white on my own return, a number that I would have dreamed about 10 years earlier. And I heard myself say out loud, alone in that room, what did I even do with it? Because I could not account for it. It had leaked away through 100 little holes, subscriptions that I forgot that I had, apps doing jobs I did not need done, convenience stacked on convenience, money flying out with wings, exactly like the old Creole saying warned me. I was earning like never before, and I still felt broke because the money was moving through my life without ever once passing through my hands. So write this down because it took me a tax return to learn it. Feeling broke is not about how much comes in. It is about how much you cannot account for. A leak does not care how big the bucket is. So if a bigger paycheck does not cure the feeling, what does? One number. One number that nobody ever taught us to calculate. And when my coach first told me about it, I did not believe her. I first heard this idea from my own business coach. She works with women building online businesses, and she noticed something that broke her heart a little. New business owners walking in believing that they needed to earn what the gurus earn, 1 million a month, or they had failed. And she would ask them one quiet question. Have you ever calculated what your life actually costs? What is your enough number? Not the fantasy number, not the guru's number, the real cost in dollars of the life that you're actually trying to live. It has 5 parts, and we're going to build one together right now so you can watch how small this monster really is. Part 1, your must pays: the roof over your head, the lights, the groceries, the phone, the insurance, the minimum payments. Write the real numbers, not the shame numbers. For the simple woman we are building today, let us say all that comes to $2,400 a month. And then part 2, your sinking funds, the bills that ambush you once a year, the car registration, the holidays, the subscriptions, that all renew in the same cruel month. And then up for the year, divide by 12. For our women, $200 a month set aside on purpose. I have a whole video on this system. It is linked below. And then part 3, your joy line. And yes, it goes inside the number. A life with no joy, it is not the goal. And a plan with no joy, it is a plan that you will quit. So give her $150 a month. That is nobody's business but hers. Okay? Part 4, the caution. A little every month towards a buffer, so one surprise cannot knock the whole thing over. So another one would be $150. Part 5, the someday fund, the trip, the dream, the thing that you keep saying one day I will about. $100 a month, funding the someday on purpose. Now add it up with me out loud. $2,400 plus 200 plus 150 plus 150 plus 100. So that's $3,000 a month. $3,000 for a whole life with a joy inside it and caution underneath it and a dream getting funded every single month. That is $36,000 a year, not a million, not the guru's 10K months. Now, your number will not be her number. Yours might be bigger, might be smaller, because your life is yours. But I promise you the shape of the surprise will be exactly the same. So one evening last November, I sat down at my kitchen table and I did it line by line. My real life priced honestly. And I have already told you what happened. The number came back smaller than the fear. And all those years of I need so much for this, so much for that, I could never possibly stop, slow down, breathe. The fear had been doing my math for me. And fear rounds everything up. And here's what changed the moment I saw it. The fear got a fence around it because a monster with a measurement is not a monster anymore. It is a goal. And a goal, unlike a monster, it can be reached. So here's your homework, and I mean this week. Sit down with 1 honest hour and price your actual life, not the life the gurus sell, yours. Most of you will find exactly what I found. The number is closer than the fear ever let you see. And if you are done letting fear do your math, and if you are ready to know your real number, then subscribe and stay with me, because this channel is a 50-year-old woman measuring the monsters out loud, one by one, so you can watch them shrink. Yours will shrink too. But I have to warn you about something first, because there is an entire industry out there that needs you to never calculate this number. And I fell for it. When I first stepped into the online business world, everybody was chanting the same number, 6 figures, 10K a month. I'm making $10,000 a month, and you can too. And I got obsessed. Not because I had done the math on my life, but because I had heard the number so many times that it started to feel like mine. And then one day, I saw the machine clearly. That is the marketing. They engrave their number into your head and they repeat it until you believe that it was your dream all along. And then they charge you 4 or 5 figures to teach you the path to their life. And I'm not mad at them. Their business is their business. But I looked at what chasing that number would actually cost me. The peace, the pressure, the years. And I realized something that set me free. I did not want their life. I was chasing someone else's enough. And someone else's enough will keep you broke in spirit, even on the day you catch it. Because every time I asked myself what I actually wanted, the honest answer was never a number with 6 zeros. It was this: I was tired of not being able to do the thing, fix the car, take the trip, buy something nice for myself without a week of guilt. The reason was always money. That is what broke felt like to me. And curing that cost so much less than a guru's dream. Let me prove it with the season that proved it to me. A while back, in a tighter season, less money than my corporate years, we sat down together in my house and audited everything. Every subscription, every recurring charge, every quiet little leak. The pile of unnecessary was embarrassing. We cut almost all of it. And we kept that one streaming service that we actually use. And here is that part I need you to hear. Nothing was missed, not one thing. My mind got quieter, not poorer. And the freed money got jobs. Some went into the sinking fund, and some went into the fund with the best name I have ever given money: the Someday Fund, or the Life That I Want to Live Fund. And that fund bought me my first solo trip. 2 countries in one trip. Because someone wise told me, if you are flying all that way, you might as well go to 2 countries. And the woman who spent decades saying one day, I will, standing there in the middle of her one day. I was this close the whole time. One day I will was never far away. It was just unfunded, waiting behind a pile of subscriptions that I did not even watch. So I do not chase things anymore. I fund experiences. Enough is not an amount that you reach. It is a direction that you point your money in. And here is everything small enough to keep. Number 1, feeling broke is not about what comes in. It is about what you cannot account for. So find the leaks first. Number 2, your enough number has 5 parts: must pays, sinking funds, the joy line, the cushion, the Someday Fund. 1 honest hour this week and you will have your number, your enough number. Number 3, if a number in your head has 6 zeros and somebody else's face on it, put it down. You are chasing someone else's enough. Number 4, point the freed money at experiences. One day I will is usually unfunded. So fund it. So let me take you back to the kitchen table in November. One woman with a calculator finally turning around to measure the monster that had chased her across an ocean and through 3 decades of working twice as hard. And the monster came up to her knee. Some of you heard me say something once and you wrote back to me in the comment so many times, I knew it was true. The most financially peaceful time of my life was not when I had the most money. It was when I had the most control. This video is that sentence with a number attached. Control has a price tag, and I promise you it is smaller than the fear has been telling you. You do not need their millions. You need your enough. And the day you know that number, the fear stops driving and you take the wheel. At 50 years old, at 60 years old, at any age at all, that is the second birth. All right, and if we have not met, I'm Webley, at 51 years old, starting over out loud and building the second act on this channel every single day. Now, 2 things I want you to put in the comments. First, in one word, what would your enough buy you? Peace, travel, sleep, groceries without math? I want to see a wall of those words. And second, tell me which of the 5 parts you are calculating first. That is your commitment in writing, where we can all see it. Then go price your life this week. And then I will meet you back here tomorrow.